beautiful spring day as April rains in and the month of May begins to bloom. It's tournament time at the Field Hockey and Lacrosse Complex. Number 4 seed Penn State and number 5 seed Johns Hopkins. Last time these two met, it came down to overtime. Now they look to advance to the semifinals to face the number 1 seeded Northwestern. Big 10 quarterfinals in College Park here on Big 10 Plus. I'm Alexa Moon, alongside me Ryan Martin, and this is a game, Ryan, I think is going to be extra competitive and have a lot of fire. We're going to take a look back at the regular seasons for both teams. First off with Johns Hopkins, 11-5 on the regular season, 5-3 in Big 10 play, and that is the most conference wins this program has had since the 2021 season.
Yeah, Alexa, this is a Johns Hopkins team that would have loved to be 6-2, but they dropped that regular season finale right here in College Park to Maryland. This Blue Jays team looking to come back after that loss at that same field they lost at to end the regular season.
That's right, and we're going to skip over to Penn State now. The Nittany Lions, 7-8 on the regular season, 5-3 in Big 10 play. Maybe not the start they wanted to start this regular season, but they definitely got hot towards the end of it.
Yeah, and Alexa, my eyes flash right to that middle line that says Nittany Lions winning 5 of their last 6 games. That asterisk, though, was an overtime loss to Johns Hopkins up in Baltimore a week ago, so a familiar opponent for Penn State, who ended off its regular season with a loss to this Blue Jays squad.
That's right, and we're going to take a look at that starting lineup for the Nittany Lions. A lot of talent on this team. Penn State had 3 first-team Big 10 all selections this regular season. And like we said, Erica Ho, number 7, a junior for this Nittany Lions squad. I think she's someone that the viewers are really going to want to look out for today.
Yeah, 44 goals, 53 points overall for Ho. She could be a difference maker in Game 1 here.
And now looking at the Blue Jays squad starting lineup, so much talent on this squad as well. They had 4 first-team All-Big 10 honorees on the regular season, and one player I think they're going to have to keep an eye on, Lacey Downing. She scored the game winner in overtime over Penn State, giving the Blue Jays the first lead of the game and that win.
Yeah, that one electrified Homewood Field up in Baltimore a week ago, and you mentioned it, just exactly 4 first-team All-Big 10 selections for Johns Hopkins. That's tied with number 1 seed Northwestern for the most in the conference.
It is going to be a great day of lacrosse here in College Park at the Field Hockey and Lacrosse Complex. Both teams huddled up, getting ready for the first draw of the game. College lacrosse tournament time is upon us, Ryan, and I could not be more ecstatic.
It's an exciting time here in College Park. Again, the new Field Hockey and Lacrosse Complex that hosted the Big 10 Field Hockey Championships this past November. Now it's lacrosse time in the women's lacrosse bracket. We got a very exciting matchup. First of 3 games as well today. On this Wednesday, it starts off with the Blue Jays and the Nittany Lions.
That's right. Along with the Blue Jays and the Nittany Lions, the Maryland Terrapins will face off against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And then you have the Michigan Wolverines against the USC Trojans, the newest addition to the Big 10 tournament. But so much lacrosse. It is a gorgeous day. I cannot wait to see these 2 teams match up. And we talked about it early in this morning, just about the 2 teams and how they match up with one another, how they really square off. And I think there's a lot of evenness in this team. We're going to take a look at that bracket for the quarterfinals. As we mentioned, you see number 5 seed Johns Hopkins versus number 4 seed Penn State, number 7 seed Rutgers versus number 2 seed Maryland, and number 6 seed USC versus number 3 seed Michigan.
Yep.
All those times today, there's going to be an error that says number 6 seed Michigan. It's actually going to be number 3 seed Michigan facing off against number 6 seed USC.
Yeah, and you go back to that bracket again. This winner of this quarterfinal game will face top seed Northwestern in the semifinals, which means if Penn State were to beat Johns Hopkins, we have a rematch, Alexa, of last year's championship between Penn State and Northwestern. That gets to happen just on Friday, though, in the semifinals. We'll have to see what the Blue Jays have to say about that first, though.
That's definitely right. Both teams now heading to that center circle. For Penn State, it's going to be number 7, Grace Carsetter, to take the draw. For the Blue Jays, it's going to be number 11, Lily Spilker, for the Blue Jays. First draw of the game. Laurel Gonzalez to take the first draw for the Blue Jays. And for the Nittany Lions, it's going to be Erica Ho, number 7 for Penn State. First draw is up, and it's going to be Ho to come up with it. quickly moves it onto the offensive end of the field for the Nittany Lions. And the Blue Jays, heavy pressure off the draw. It's going to be knocked away. And it's going to be Penn State to come up with the ground ball and maintain a possession. Now, Ryan, that's something Johns Hopkins likes to do. They like to put pressure on the draw right away and make it hard for the opponent to cross that restraining line.
Yeah, the winning in the draw circle has been so huge this year for this Blue Jay team. They can just continue to do that, try and battle against Penn State. I think this is going to be one of those games, Alexa, where you really see if you can win via the draw control.
Emma Kelly with the ball now. Kelly moves it down low. The pass across the 12. Down low to X. A quick feed in, unable to connect, and that is going to be picked up by the Blue Jays. It's number 26, DiCarlo, as she flies up the field, cross the half field line, bringing it over the restraining line herself. DiCarlo, no one there in her way, and the goal! A quick one, a full field sprint for number 26, Samantha DiCarlo, and she sets the tone at the beginning of the game for Hopkins.
Takes just 73 seconds, but Hopkins on the board first. It all started with that great defensive possession, Alexa, thwarting away the Nittany Lions' first chance, and then just coast to coast. What a play there made again by Samantha DiCarlo, and the sophomore gets it done to put the Blue Jays up 1.
See right there, DiCarlo just racing up the field, sees no Nittany Lion defender pick her up, and she goes for the shot, and she's got it.
Just the 8th goal of the season for DiCarlo, so maybe a piece that Penn State wasn't really thinking about when you have Ashley Mack and Ava Angelo in this lineup. Those are 2 50-plus goal scorers for Hopkins this year. Then all of a sudden, the sophomore DiCarlo puts Hopkins on the board first.
Gonzalez and Ho back in that center circle. And that draw, the fight for it still, that is going to be picked up by Gonzalez. Hopkins with their first draw control of the day. Haas has the ball. Haas brings it down to X, moves it up around the 12. Hopkins setting up in their attack. Downey. Haas has it now. Haas, the feed inside it, the quick shot, and there's another goal for Johns Hopkins. It's going to be Megan Kielbasa. Hopkins up 2-0 over Penn State.
Great work there by Kielbasa. She takes the feed inside, finds that top left corner to get it past Penn State and Sydney Manning. Just well done there again by Hopkins. And again, Alexa, that is a second Blue Jays goal scored by a player for Johns Hopkins who wasn't in their top 6 goal scorers in the regular season. Love how Hopkins is relying everywhere and getting contributions early from unlikely sources.
And that was a great job by Haas. She drove in, and as she pulled out on that drive, she kept her head up. That's where she saw Kielbasa for the feed inside. She was wide open in front of the cage.
Goal number 11 on the season for Kielbasa. And remember, these two teams went to overtime in Baltimore just last week, but Johns Hopkins took the lead, their only lead in overtime, and now Hopkins has a 2-0 goal advantage, and we're less than 2 minutes in.
That's right, back at the center circle for the third draw control of this game. Hopkins quick with the scoring, sending them back to that circle in a fight again. Penn State and Hopkins going for the loose ground ball now on Hopkins' defensive end of the field, and that is going to be picked up by number 6 for the Blue Jays, Quinlan Bryan. But a loose ball in the midfield, and Penn State is headed the opposite way. Penn State quickly looking to move into their attack end of the field as the Blue Jays were not fully set as they were subbing on the sideline. Moving it around the 12 now.
Like the patience here from Penn State, Alexa, after allowing those first 2 goals, really hasn't felt like the Nittany Lions have had possession for much of this beginning of the game so far.
Ball now behind the cage with the Nittany Lions. Quickly moving it. Lipkin sends it down low to X. A quick feed inside, unable to connect. A loose ball in the crease. It's going to be picked up by the Blue Jays, number 24, McNaughton. And Hopkins once again stops Penn State from getting a goal off.
Like Smeagol had it at point-blank range, just came up empty with her stick.
Hopkins quickly moves it into the attack end of the field and a whistle called. It's going to reset. Haas brings it to X. Haas working from behind. Sends it up to the top of the 12. Case. To X. A quick feed. That one knocked away. A fight for the ground ball. And there's going to be a whistle. It's going to stay here with Hopkins. And that is going to send number 10, Golder, for the Nittany Lions behind. Hopkins quickly moving it. The feed inside. The look for the behind the back. It's a no-go. The fight for the loose ball right around the crease. And that is going to be picked up by Penn State's goalie. We're going to take another look at that save on the defensive end. And actually, we're not going to take a look. We're going to keep moving as the ball is quickly moving up the field. Hopkins putting the pressure on the redefend. Penn State, with Hopkins' defense not settled. A check, and that's going to be called. We're going to have the foul called against Regan O'Brien, and that's going to put Penn State on the 8. It's going to be number 7, and a false start on the fan as that free position is taking away. It was number 13 for the Nittany Lions, Lauren Saltz, to take the free position, but a false start, and that is going to give the ball to Hopkins.
Huge missed opportunity for Penn State, already down 2 goals, and on the first potential free position, it's a false start that gave possession back to Hopkins for a moment, but Penn State with it after the ground ball.
That's right, an errant pass by the Blue Jays, and Penn State picks it up. A lot of back and forth so far in this game, Ryan, as Penn State's Erica Ho is full speed into the 8-meter. She looks for the feed, elects to pull it out, and it looks like Penn State will settle into their attack, try to slow down the chaos that has ensued in the last couple of moments.
Again, 44 goals in the regular season for Erica Ho, so you know she wanted to lay a shot down in transition, but again, Hopkins' defense clogging all the lanes inside.
Long with the ball. Tries to get it down low. That one's knocked away, but saved and kept inside by the Nittany Lions. Penn State quickly moving it. The pass looked to miss. Ho has it. The shot, that one goes low and out of bounds, but it's going to stay here with Penn State. And their shot clock is going to reset to 60. Penn State quickly moving it around the 8. Ho. Forced out. Ho brings it behind the cage. From X, the feed inside, unable to connect. That one is picked up by Reza. From the top, the feed down low. A quick cut inside. The shot, that one is deflected and saved. And there's going to be a crease violation called against Penn State. It's going to be Hopkins' ball.
Taking another look at that save there. Again, Morgan Giardina has made every stop to ask for her, including that point-blank opportunity from Kelly McKinney. Well done there by the Hopkins goalkeeper.
And Ryan, that went off the shaft of her stick. So what a save by Giardina as Hopkins moves into the offensive end of the field. Kielbasa sends it down low to Haas. Haas brings it up to the top of the 12. Hopkins looking to make something happen. Tolik able to get inside. The bounce shot, that one's saved, but she's able to get her own rebound. Haas looking to set up the Blue Jays. There's going to be a whistle called. It's not going to be an 8-meter. It's going to be right on that 12. A quick pass, moving it around for the Blue Jays. Hopkins looking to set something up. Rhodes passes it off. Forced out of the 8 meters. Penn State all-out pressure in the 8 against Hopkins. The feed inside. 28 seconds on the shot clock and a whistle called. That is going to be an 8-meter for Brooke Long. Long is going to be on that second hash from the right side of the fan. And you see right there, Long coming across. And I believe they called the check against the body. And a quick shot by Long. That one is saved. Sydney Manning makes the save, and Penn State looking to clear the ball. And once again, you see Hopkins with the hard ride as they try to move upfield. Penn State trying to push the pace. The feed, the shot, that one deflected by D'Ardina.
And D'Ardina up for the challenge again. That was the first shot from Ellie Wish. The freshman couldn't get her first career playoff goal. But how about that defense as well from Penn State on the other side, especially before it gets to the goalkeeper, and Manning really impressed how Penn State's adjusted after allowing those first 2 goals.
Penn State setting up in their attack. Liscu. Penn State taking their time. Ho, the feed to X, across the 12. Hopkins really not letting any Penn State attacker into the 8. And that pass is deflected. It's going to go out of bounds and stay here with the Nittany Lions.
Now, Alexia, you're exactly right. Anyone atop the crease is getting double teamed for Penn State, especially Erica Ho. It feels like Johns Hopkins really keying in on her, knowing that she's one of Penn State's most prolific goal scorers.
Hopkins, the feed, unable to connect on that pass. A loose ball. Ho going for the ground ball. She'll pick it up with ease. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Ho has the ball on her stick. 3 seconds. Ho checked away, and a foul called. 1 second on the shot clock. That was Regan O'Brien with the foul, and that is a hard call for Johns Hopkins. That they had 1 second left on the shot clock. They're now putting Ho on the 8 meter, and you see the foul right there on your screen.
Yeah, for O'Brien, she was on the stick side of Ho, came down and just used that long stick to get into Ho's way. This is a dangerous position if you're Johns Hopkins with Ho at the free start.
Erica Ho, the whip and the goal right as the shot clock expires. The power behind Erica Ho from the 8 meter.
Just simple, not overthinking it for Erica Ho. 2 steps in top left corner to get past Hopkins there.
That will do it as we head to a timeout in the first quarter here on Big 10 Plus. You're watching the Big Ten lacrosse quarterfinals here on Big 10 Plus. Penn State versus Johns Hopkins. And Ryan, the last time these two met, it was a tight game.
Again, yeah, this was a fun one in Homewood Field up in Baltimore where Johns Hopkins hosted Penn State. A 12-11 victory for the Blue Jays, the last win of the regular season for Johns Hopkins. And we mentioned it. Johns Hopkins takes its only lead in overtime, but you see in the bottom right there, that is when the Blue Jays have been their best this season, 4-0 when games go past regulation.
That's true. The Blue Jays have not lost a single overtime game this season. They had wins over number 12 Penn, number 8 Syracuse, number 25 Duke, and as we mentioned against their foes today, Penn State.
And that Penn State team you see right there, Erica Ho. When you think about this Penn State offense, 2 words: concentrated scoring. Ho, her 45th goal of the season for Penn State. They do not have a player with more than 25 as second.
That's right, Ho on the last play before the timeout just ripped it from that 8-meter, put the Nittany Lions on the board. Right now, Hopkins leading 2-1, just under 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter here in the Big Ten quarterfinals. And we're back at center circle. It's going to be Gonzalez and Ho to take the draw. Another fight, and it's going to be Penn State to come up with it. Smeagol brings it over the restraining line for the Nittany Lions. Moves it to Saltz. Saltz back to Smeagol, to Ho. Penn State taking their time to set up in this attack. Penn State a couple times unable to connect on the feed, something they're gonna wanna really focus on at the end of this first quarter. Smeagol, Saltz. The shot no good, it goes right over the top crossbow. Penn State setting back up in this attack. Kelly quickly moves it over, and an errant pass, that's gonna go out of bounds, and Johns Hopkins is gonna retain possession. Hopkins quickly moves it upfield. Penn State putting pressure on the ride. It's number 34 for the Blue Jays. A quick feed, the shot, that one is saved by Manning. Point blank right in front of her, and Manning steps up and grabs it in the air.
Again, after allowing those first 2 goals, Sydney Manning has been everything Penn State's needed her to be and more, including another point blank save for the sophomore.
Penn State looking to move the ball upfield. Johns Hopkins once again just putting that pressure on the ride, not making it easy, and shaving time off the shot clock. Penn State with the ball behind cage. Moves it up top to Saltz. Long. Sends it down to X. McKinney. Back up top. McKinney still at that X position, looking for something. Johns Hopkins not giving them a look in the 8. Ho. And there'll be a flag on the play, a 3-second call against the Blue Jays. Officials deciding where the free position will be taken from.
After that first goal from Ho, Nittany Lions starting to wear down this Blue Jays back line. Now another free position with Penn State.
Matt Kenny on that first hash mark on the right side of the fan. The shot, that one is saved by Giardina. Giardina taking her time. Is going to give it to one of her defenders. So we're going to take another look at that shot. Giardina just scoops that one up. The sidearm shot from Matt Kenny as Hopkins now brings the ball up the field.
5th save for Giardina, really settling in too.
Hopkins looking to set up their attack. Angelo with the ball in her stick. We haven't said her name a lot so far in this game, Ryan, but she is a hot hand for the Blue Jays. That shot is going to go out of bounds. Hopkins chases and will retain possession. From X. Gonzalez. Still with the ball in her stick. The feed to Angelo. Angelo, the fake high and the shot down low. Ava Angelo gets one on the deck.
You couldn't keep this sensational duo for Johns Hopkins of Ava Angelo and Ashley Mackin quiet all first half long. And here, Angelo knocks on the door and scores. A really good cut across from left to right in front of Manning by Angelo. That's why she's been doing it so well so far this season. A 53rd goal on the campaign for Ava Angelo, and Johns Hopkins back up by 2.
And you saw Ryan right there, the way Angelo moved Manning in cage, she forced her to go high and then was able to find that down low shot. Great just focus on that last moment to complete that play.
A simple backdoor cut by Angelo to get past that first line of defense from Penn State. And then by that point, it was just Manning to beat. You see right there, really well done by 72 points for Angelo. Her and Ashley Mackin have been atop the conference all season long.
That's right, you saw it on your screen. 4th in the Big Ten in points. Someone that the Penn State Nittany Lions are going to have to keep track of, because she will be sneaky and just finding those goals quickly. And there is going to be a whistle on that draw. It's going to go against Hopkins as Penn State brings the ball over the restraining line. Ho has it now. Ho sends it down to X. McKinney with it. Moves it up top. Penn State looking for something, and an intercepted pass right there by Hopkins. They lose it though, and Penn State able to recover it. It was Regan O'Brien almost there, had a takeaway from the Nittany Lions. McKinney back at X. Penn State from the top of the feed, the bounce shot, and that one goes over the cage. It's going to be chased by Penn State, and they will retain possession. Working it from behind, it's tapped out of the stick. Loose ball and picked up by the Nittany Lions. Ho. A high pass, and that will go out against Penn State. Hopkins sending it the other way. And Ryan, this has really been a sore spot for Penn State in this game. Just errant passes, not able to connect on feeds, and those are the turnovers they cannot afford in this game.
Yeah, it just happened too many times for Penn State, looking more like a football game with a receiver trying to go up and make a one-handed snag, and Penn State just can't find their teammate on simple passes, too, without many Blue Jay defenders in the area.
That's right. As the Blue Jays look to bring it up the field, Penn State made it hard, but a quick run into the 8 is forced out. That was number 9, Regan O'Brien for the Blue Jays, looking to hand it off to a teammate as she comes back over their straining line. Kilbasa with the ball in her stick. The dodge, gets inside, looks for the shot. It's knocked away. That's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to stay here with Hopkins. Blue Jays settling into their attack. A quick pass across the 12. And this dodge inside the shot, that one is no good. That came from number 34, Charlotte Smith, as Hopkins still frantically trying to find a shot. That pass almost lost, but kept inbounds as Smith now has the ball back. Smith going for the shot. There was a horn on the play, and that will be the first quarter. We're going to see, I do not believe the goal is going to count, but the officials are checking the stick. Did she get it off in time? We're going to have an official review on the play.
So we'll have to see if we can see the clock in this, but you see this graphic right here. The clock read 0. All the Nittany Lion defenders in the area stopped, which is why it was Charlotte Smith, the Baltimore native, who had a wide open shot to the lane, but that's because 000s were on the clock.
That's right, and you saw right as Smith made that dodge, like you said, Ryan, the Penn State defenders stopped because they heard the sound of the buzzer saying that time was out. We see the officials right now reviewing the play, and I believe I just saw the motion then. It will not be a goal.
It should be a pretty quick review for this one.
I see right there again, 4 seconds. Smith with the ball in her stick. And you see she's still at the 8. Before that shot is ever released, it's already at 000.
Not particularly close either for Smith. So this will go into the second quarter, a 3-1 Hopkins lead.
That's right. Right now, the officials debating on what the goal will be. I believe it will be 3-1 at the end of the first quarter. Johns Hopkins off to a hot start against the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Here on Big 10 Plus, the Big 10 quarterfinals. Still so much left in this game. You're watching Big 10 Plus, the Big 10 lacrosse quarterfinals, and see right now on your screen, Tim McCormick, his third year as a head coach at Johns Hopkins, the 2022 Pac-12 Coach of the Year at Arizona State. And he has really done wonders for this Johns Hopkins program.
Yes, he's going from coast to coast now in Baltimore. I think he's still really trying to find that breakthrough here. And now with Hopkins, again, the most conference wins it's had so far since joining the Big Ten, a 5-3 record in Big Ten play. McCormick looking to now make some waves just down the road from Baltimore here at the Big Ten Women's Lacrosse Tournament in College Park.
That's right, and we are underway in the second quarter. Johns Hopkins right now leading 3-1 over Penn State, but Penn State to come up with the first draw control of the second quarter. Penn State moving into their own attack. Pass across to the top of the 12. Moving the ball around the 12 before getting started in this attack, looking for gaps in Hopkins' zone defense. It's going to be a whistle on the play. Haas with the ball on her stick. The quick pass splits the defenders, but that one is going to be knocked away and picked up by the Blue Jays. Full speed from Hopkins. It's Hannah Johnson, quickly moves it upfield. The Blue Jays wasting no time. The feed inside, the shot, and the goal. That is going to come from number 26, Samantha DiCarlo. As Hopkins, once again, in transition, able to capitalize.
Have a day for the sophomore DiCarlo. Again, really great passing by the Blue Jays all the way around. DiCarlo gets it on the bottom left corner just like that. Well done there. Just her second multi-goal game of the season. Remember, DiCarlo only had 7 goals in 15 regular season games. Now she has 2 in her first playoff game this season.
That's right, DiCarlo just doing everything right now for this Hopkins team. We've called her name a couple of times, just really capitalizing on opportunities she can find on the field.
Yeah, DiCarlo is someone who made the mid-season adjustment from coming off the bench and has started the last 10 games this year for Johns Hopkins, making it work really well and now becoming that player that Hopkins can really utilize while the defense is focusing in on likes of Ava Angelo and Ashley Mackin.
Back in center circle for the draw control. Penn State dominating in this aspect of the game. And right there, Erica Hoy just shows why never giving up on the fight for the ground ball as she brings it over the restraining line, quickly swarmed by 3 Hopkins defenders. Penn State setting up in their attack as they move it up to the top of the 12. Brooke Haas has it. The fate, and she gets it taken away. That's knocked out of her stick and picked up by Hopkins Kielbasa. Hopkins quickly moving it upfield again. Regan O'Brien able to get over the restraining line, but an errant pass, and that will go out of bounds. Back and forth right now through transition with both teams. The Nittany Lions looking to get this ball upfield. Hopkins still putting on heavy pressure on the ride, making nothing easy for this Penn State team. And that is going to be a whistle. Believe it was a push called on the play. For a second, it looked like they were going to issue a green card to Hopkins, but Hopkins bench arguing that the ball had already crossed the restraining line.
Tim McCormick flew out of where he was sitting on the Hopkins bench as well to plead his case there, and it works out. Green card put back in the pocket.
There's going to be an extension with the stick and push against Hopkins. That's going to come against number 24, Jillian McNaughton, as that is going to put number 12 for the Nittany Lions, Peyton Wademan, on the hanging hash. Wademan on the hanging hash on the left side of the fan, elects to pull it out, sends it over to Ho. Ho, the quick bounce shot, and she's got it. Erica Ho from range just slices Johns Hopkins defense.
Well done by Erica Ho to work down the right wing, get that shot on, then she threw that stick all the way back to Happy Valley. You know how much it means for Erica Ho with her second of the game. Again, gets that space right there before the second Blue Jay defender comes in. A momentous goal for Penn State. Cuts that lead down to 2 for Hopkins.
And that was so smart from Wayneman. She saw that all of Hopkins' defense was shifted over to that left side. She saw Ho open on the other side of the 12, was able to quickly get that pass off, give Ho that momentum to cut in and find that gap in the defense.
Yeah, Ho, again, first team all Big Ten selection, biggest players, now in the biggest moments with Penn State down, but slowly coming back, and obviously plenty of time to go in this game.
That's right, her 46th goal on the season. She has been a beast in the draw circle, fighting for those ground balls, and right there, getting the action done on attack, scoring 2 goals for Penn State. And with that draw, it's going to be Hopkins to come up with that one. Hopkins quickly moving into their attack. Blue Jays not having a settled attack really in this second quarter yet. A lot of back and forth in transition. And the quick shot and the rebound, and what a save right there from Sydney Manning. She saved the first shot. The rebound comes on her backside, and she's able to get her stick up anyway.
An early candidate for play of the tournament there with Manning. How did she make those 2 saves in about a 3-second span, going from side of the cage to side of the cage?
Penn State wasting no time as they move the ball up the field. It's going to send it to Ho at the top of the 12. Ho, the quick feed. Wayneman is checked. And that, I believe, is going to put her on the 8-meter. But we're going to take another look at that insane Sydney Manning save. You see it bounces past, and she's able to completely get her body across the cage.
I think she lost eye of where the ball was for a second. You see her crouch down until the very last moment, and then uses that stick towards the right post to make the second save.
And Wayneman is going to be put back on the 8-meter. She's going to take that one herself. And the goal, a quick bounce shot right past that left side of the post. Peyton Wayneman gets a goal on the day, and Penn State is only down 1 goal now to Johns Hopkins.
Works on the free position, starts with the save by Manning. Then Wayneman, her 8th goal of the season, going bottom right. Big goals in succession between Ho and Wayman. This is a Penn State attack that we haven't seen pieced together in this game up until now.
That's right. Big Ten quarterfinals, Hopkins, Penn State, a 1-goal differential in the second quarter. So much action left, and like you mentioned, Ryan, 8th goal on the season, her first one today, and she just had that pass to Ho that led to Ho's goal.
Yeah, and how about the Nittany Lions finding some goal production for a player not named Erica Ho for Wayman. You see right there, her 8th of the season. Penn State's going to keep going goal for goal here with Johns Hopkins. They're going to have to find a way to get others involved besides Ho, as they do right there with Wayman.
That's right, and we're going to head right back to that center circle for another draw between this pair of Gonzalez and Ho. They have been fighting it out all day, and there is going to be a whistle called against Penn State, or excuse me, against Johns Hopkins. It is going to be called against Penn State, and it's going to be Johns Hopkins ball headed to the attack end of the field. Ho putting heavy pressure as Hopkins looks to get it upfield. They're going to call a push.
Yeah, that was Penn State's Maggie Golder, who was just working on the back of Megan Kielbasa. And for Golder, good sportsmanship to pick her up right there. I think a little bit more physical than she intended.
It looked like Golder right there, just not able to stop herself before running into Kielbasa as Hopkins quickly looking to get inside the 8. A quick shot. That one looked like it went off the post, and that is going to go over the restraining line. Johns Hopkins, though, there to pick it up. It's going to be number 9, Regan O'Brien. She's been all over the place, a defenseman that just does it at everything for the Blue Jays. Hopkins quickly looking for something. The shot, that one is saved by Manning. And Manning will quickly pass that out as Penn State is looking to quickly move this upfield. They don't want to let Hopkins settle into their redefend, which has been so tough in shaving time off that shot clock.
Yeah, now the 6th save there for Sydney Manning, who set a season high with 12 saves against the Johns Hopkins team a week ago.
Penn State is going to bring the ball behind cage. Wainman up to Ho. This duo working well together in the second quarter. Ho trying to find something. The pass unable to complete it. That's going to go out of bounds, and Hopkins will get another look against Sydney Manning and this Penn State defense.
Relatively simple passing, Alexa, that just continues to go astray for Penn State. That one in the direction of Emma Kelly. Check that one instead. It's going to be Ellie Weishu, nearly 6 feet tall, and still ain't not able to get there.
Penn State just not able to time up their passes on a couple of those on-the-run looks, something they're going to need to fix if they want to keep themselves in this game. Hopkins. And that one is taken away by Manning. It was Taylor Haas looking for the pass behind cage, and Manning, active, comes out of the crease and swipes it. Hopkins, and their tough redefend. Their attack has been so good about slowing this ball down for their defense.
Laurel Gonzalez was going everywhere, step for step there with the Penn State attacker.
Ho able to get the ball in her stick and quickly moves it upfield. The pass hits her teammate in the stomach, but she's able to control it. That was number 32, McKinney, as Penn State quickly moves the ball to the top of the 12. Saltz to Lipkin. That one is knocked out. A fight for the ground ball. Ho able to grab it easily. Penn State moving it around the 12. Quick passes. Ho has it. Ho gets that one knocked away. There's going to be a whistle on the play. And that will put Ho, I believe, on the 12-meter. It's not going to be a free position for number 7. Ho quickly moves it behind to Wainman. To the other side of X. A feed. The quick shot. That one is no good. A fight for the ground ball on the rebound. And Penn State to come up with it.
And Morgan Giardina watching the slides perfectly for Penn State.
And that one is swiped away in the air by O'Brien. We mentioned her so many times. Regan O'Brien is just a menace on that defensive end.
That defense really stepping up as it's needed to for the Blue Jays. Again, most 2 recent goals have both come from Penn State, but not feeling like that as the defense for both teams seems to be going up a notch.
And right there, Johns Hopkins loses the pass in the midfield, and Penn State has another opportunity to go against Giardina and this Blue Jays defense. With the ball at the top of the 12. Brooke Haas moves it down low to X for the Nittany Lions. Ho open in the 8, no one able to find her. A Twizzler look, and that shot actually hits a Johns Hopkins defenders. The Hopkins coaching staff is on the sideline calling for a card.
Yeah, so anyone on this side of the field could probably have heard Tim McCormick came out screaming, saying he wants to review that quickly. You see McCormick right there. Hopkins is arguing that was a dangerous look right there by Penn State. See if what video review would have to say there if McCormick can win that case and get called the further dangerous penalty.
And right there, Ryan, watching it in real time, you saw the Twizzler look at the shot. It hit the Johns Hopkins defender. We're going to take another look at it here. You see the feed inside, goes for the Twizzler, and I think that did hit her body or her leg. That was Kielbasa on the defensive end. And we're going to see with this review if that will be a penalty. See the officials right now looking at the play on their screen, waiting for an official word on what this call will be. And Ryan, this is really the first stoppage. We've seen so much back and forth in this game, running up and down the field, just nonstop action from both of these teams.
Yeah, this is just coast-to-coast women's lacrosse, the highest stage now in the Big Ten Conference Tournament.
We see the officials taking a look. We're going to get another look at that play that right now is being reviewed by the officials. And I believe it does hit her knee right there. Kielbasa steps up to try to stop the shot. It's number 14 for Penn State, Elise Smeagol, who goes for the Twizzler behind the back, and Kielbasa falls to the ground.
And Kielbasa, exactly right, gets hit with it. So this is going to be an official Johns Hopkins challenge. A reminder of the NCAA Women's Lacrosse challenging rules. Each team gets 2 challenges. If they use it, they can retain it. If not, they will lose that challenge and timeout as well. So Hopkins risking that timeout here, one of its 2 challenges. Get another look there on the shot from Smeagol. Kielbasa wears it off the right leg, and then Tim McCormick came screaming out of his bench again to argue for this challenge. Looks like we have a call coming up in just a moment.
And you mentioned how if the challenge is taken away, they lose that timeout. Tim McCormick does not seem to be worried about that one, but he was very adamant about the call.
Yeah,
and we're going to get an official
protecting his
ruling.
players as well. You'd love to see it there here in the Big Ten Women's Lacrosse Tournament.
We see the officials now talking with the head coaches. And it is going to be a dangerous propel against number 14 for White. The lead official just told the head coaches, so Tim McCormick was right in the call. Dangerous propelling and follow through against number 14 for Penn State, Smeagol. That is going to be a yellow card against Smeagol, and she'll have to take a seat on the sideline as Hopkins goes a man up.
Take one last look at it. Here, the shot from Smeagol. Again, Kielbasa right off the right leg in point blank range from the shot. Challenge successful there for McCormick, and 15th year Penn State head coach Missy Doherty, just saw her on the shot for a moment, did not like that call. She left the coaches meeting early to head back to the sideline right there, where again it's Smeagol taking the seat now, and she will for the next 2 minutes.
And Ryan, seeing that, like I said, in real time, it looked directly like Kielbasa was hit on that shot. I was honestly shocked to see the officials did not call it, but Tim McCormick fought for that call, and it paid off for his team as Hopkins now has possession of the ball in a man-up situation. Hopkins able to move the ball upfield with ease. Setting up in their attack. Smith has it. Smith passes it off to Case. Case quickly moving around, and right there, Penn State's defense, all-out pressure, a deflection, and they pick up the ground ball. Manning now has it in her stick. That is a big defensive play there for Penn State, not allowing Hopkins to get a goal off in this man-up situation.
Yeah, it's huge for Penn State. Now can try to wind down that clock with over 70 seconds on the shot clock before Penn State gets back to full strength.
And we talked about throughout this first half how tough of a redefend Hopkins has put on Penn State. Now they're in a man-up situation. This is the ideal situation for their attack and their redefending efforts.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Look at the full court press that just comes from Hopkins. Really working to get that ball back before Penn State has an opportunity to wind down the clock.
And Manning right there set it down for her defender to pick it up. That's number 16, Ellia Holland. And they're able to get it over the restraining line. Great patience from Penn State, but not a lot of time left on this shot clock as they'll have to move quickly. 32 seconds. The dodge inside, the shot, that one will go wide. It's gonna go out of bounds. Penn State to chase, and they will retain possession. Penn State trying to quickly move the ball. A whistle called. It's gonna put the ball on the 12-meter. It's gonna be McKinney with the ball. And with that, the yellow card is released. It's gonna be even strength between the two teams. Ho quickly passes it to the top of the key. And that ball is lost, and it's picked up by Giardina, but she's checked away. Penn State gets possession back, 2 seconds on the shot clock, and that will expire time. Hopkins now full speed the other way. A fast break with Charlotte Smith. Smith passes a toss. Haas, the feed, unable to connect, but it's picked up, and a foul called. It's gonna be a push called, I believe, against Penn State.
Yeah, Lacey Downey again, who scored the game-winning overtime goal when these two teams played a week ago. Try to take the pass inside, but then you see right there the defense that comes from Maggie Golder. Second time today, Golder just used that stick a little bit too aggressively and sent a Blue Jay attacker to the ground.
Blue Jays now on the 8-meter. The shot, that one goes high, but it's going to stay here with Hopkins as they chase the shot.
Going to be a shot that Downey would want back, went well over top crossbar.
Hopkins setting up in their attack. They're going to have them restart. Looks like there was an issue on the field, but it has been fixed, and the Blue Jays are right into their attack. Smith at the top of the 12. Tries to flip it up to Haas. Haas can't control it, but able to maintain possession. Haas, the dodge, gets inside. The shot, no good. It's going to stay here with Hopkins. With the ball behind cage. Downey. Gearing up, looking to drive, decides to pull it out. Downey's still with the ball in her stick. Angelo, the feed inside, unable to connect, and Manning to come up with the loose ground ball.
Hopkins had possession for a good amount of time there, Alexa, but slowly this game is really just becoming a defensive battle. There's been no goals scored by either team since Penn State scored about 8 minutes ago. Hopkins has gone over 11 minutes without a goal.
That's right, just under 3 minutes remaining in this first half. 4-3, Johns Hopkins leads as Erica Ho for Penn State quickly brings it upfield. The pass across the top of the cage. That is forced out. McKinney passes it back to Ho. Penn State setting up in their attack. Haas passes it. That one's checked out of bounds. It's going to stay here with Penn State. Wainman. Ho looking for the feed, able to connect. The shot, that one goes off the post. Ho with her own rebound. Penn State looking for something. 50 seconds. That one's knocked away. Penn State comes up with the ground ball. Saltz passes it off. It's going to be a charge call against number 15 for the Nittany Lions. It's Emma Kelly. And Johns Hopkins, Regan O'Brien is racing up the field.
So the transition shots and opportunities that Hopkins needs.
O'Brien still with the ball in her stick. No one's stopping her. She goes for the shot. That's checked away, but a whistle called.
Gotta look there at the charge that Hopkins drew just a second ago. Both teams again playing coast to coast, Alexa. Possession flipping every millisecond, it feels.
It has been nonstop, and when that opportunity arises for the fast break, both teams are taking it with speed. Regan O'Brien on the 8-meter. O'Brien, the shot, and it looks like they're going to call her for a false start. It looked like she took a baby step before fully going at cage, and you heard Penn State's bench calling for that whistle.
Yeah, remember the first free start of the game, Penn State also jumped off early for a false start. So these free positions just going astray for the Nittany Lions, and this could be a Penn State lead if not for those early mistakes.
Wainman from X. Penn State liking this skip pass in this game. She's going to send it to the top. Hopkins defense forces that out. Ho has it. Back to Wainman at X. Ho on top of the 12, the dodge, does not take the drive. That one knocked away by Regan O'Brien. She has just been a thief on the defensive end, taking away pass after pass.
So it's Hopkins needed on its defensive end, really taking the pressure off of Giardina as well.
Hopkins moving fast. Haas, the feed, quick ball movement, and what a play by Johns Hopkins, number 21 for the Blue Jays. Campbell Case finishes off the 1, 2, 3, 4 pass and a goal.
Hopkins just playing tic-tac-toe every which way. It's hot potato ball for this Hopkins attack, and it's working out to another 2-goal Blue Jay lead. This ball is not in anyone's stick for more than half a second. Finally gets to close, and it's Hopkins with its board, goal on the board.
5-3, Johns Hopkins leads Penn State here on Big Ten Plus in the Big Ten quarterfinals. Big Ten quarterfinals here at the Field Hockey and Lacrosse Complex, and we're going to take a look at Penn State's head coach, Missy Doherty, 15th year as a head coach for the Nittany Lions, and she was that 2015 Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Yeah, not only that, but before her time in State College, she was a 1997 graduate of the University of Maryland here, a 4-year starter, a 3-time NCAA champion with Maryland. Not a bad resume for Missy Doherty, who certainly feels comfortable here in Maryland.
I was going to say, it might be far from her new home, but definitely feels close to home playing here in College Park. Her and her team fighting to reach that semifinals game against number 1 seeded Northwestern. We have 18 seconds left in this first half, the second quarter. Hopkins leading 5-3, and we just saw a hot potato play, as Ryan called it before the break, goal for the Blue Jays.
Hopkins again back up by 2 goals. This was a 4-1 game though, so Penn State still going goal for goal and keeping itself well within striking range entering halftime.
The two teams now at that center circle. The draw control has been a fight all game long, helping maintain possession, but I don't know if possession matters that much in this game, as it has been so back and forth. Erica Ho to come up with that draw control. Ho quickly getting into the attacking end of the year. 3 seconds. That's going to be knocked out of bounds, and that will do it for the first half of the Big Ten Women's Lacrosse quarterfinals. Johns Hopkins right now leading 5-3, and like we were just talking about, Ryan, this has been a game back and forth, a lot of back and forth action, coast to coast, and it's going to be a great second half on deck here on Big Ten Plus. Number 5, Johns Hopkins versus number 4, Penn State. You're watching the Big Ten Women's Lacrosse quarterfinals here on Big Ten Plus, and we're going to take a moment to highlight the two keepers in goal for these teams, Sydney Manning and Morgan Giardina. The saves in this game have been nothing short of excellent, Ryan.
Yeah, Alexa, 6 saves apiece, both Giardina for Johns Hopkins and Manning for Penn State, over a 60% goal percentage. You see, a lot of these coming from point-blank range, Alexa. There have been 7 combined goals scored. That could have easily been doubled in the first half, if not for the play of Sydney Manning. And for Johns Hopkins on the other side being Morgan Giardina, they've been tremendous over the first half hour of play.
We're going to take a look at those halftime stats. 2 categories I really want to focus on: draw controls and turnovers. Penn State 6-4 in the draw control department, but 14-8 in the turnover department. And I think that's where the Blue Jays have really found this run and early lead in this game.
Thank you. Hit it right on the head there between the draw controls. When Penn State's winning them a little bit more frequently than Johns Hopkins, it doesn't really matter because those turnovers are limiting the shots, opportunities for Penn State. As you can see with the top line, even though Hopkins has less draw controls, they still hold the advantage in shots.
And we've seen Hopkins multiple times take those turnovers and turn those into fast break goals, and that's where this lead comes in. But we're going to head right back to 2 players to watch for Hopkins and Penn State. We saw their 2 goalies on the screen. We talked about how instrumental they have been. Like you mentioned, Ryan, this has been a low-scoring game, 5-3 after the first half, and I think there's been a lot more shots, but these goalies have been right in front of those looks at cage.
Yeah, that graphic just flew away, but for Giardina and Manning, love the stat there about how each goalie averaging about 6 to 7 saves per game. They've each hit the 6 save mark in the first half alone, which is really the case as well that we saw when these 2 teams matched up in Baltimore just last week, a 12-11 Johns Hopkins win that closed out the regular season for Penn State. With that loss, there was a lot of goals in that game. Again, 12-11, Hopkins wins that one, but it was a great day, including for that goalkeeper right there, Sydney Manning, who made a season-high 12 stops.
And I mean, what a way to end the regular season and give you that boost of confidence that this is how we're going to start Big Ten tournament play, I should say, and just get in here, get ready. And like you said, coming off that 12 save, a career best, she's trying to bring that energy today, and we've seen some big-time saves from Penn State's keeper.
Yeah, it's been tremendous for Manning. Again, a lot of them coming point-blank range. Hopkins up by 1 goal right now, or 2 goals on the scoreboard, 5-3 after that one to end the second half. But this could be a much bigger lead if it's not for the play of Manning in net.
That is very true, and we are back at center circle right now for the first draw of the second half. It's going to be the same duo, Ho and Gonzalez, fighting it out, and we just talked about the draw control with the halftime stats. Penn State leading just by 2 controls. Going to see who's going to come up with the first one, and it will be Penn State going to make that 9 draw controls on the day. Lauren Saltz brings it over the restraining line as Penn State gets in their first offensive set of the third quarter and second half. It's going to be a whistle on the play. It was Wademan with the ball on her stick. They're going to put her teammate on that hanging hash below goal line extended as Penn State quickly moves into their attack. The quick shot and the goal. That's number 15, Emma Kelly. Penn State starting things strong. A power shot from Kelly to make this a 1-goal difference.
Shot from Kelly that comes just 37 seconds into the second half. Johns Hopkins got the scoring started early in the first. Now in the second, it is all Penn State via Emma Kelly. Her 20th goal of the year, maybe the loudest so far as well for Penn State this season from Kelly.
Kelly was pumped up after that. You saw her throw her stick. She was ready to go, and she gets right back to the outer part of that draw circle, ready for Penn State to come up with another one.
Remember, Hopkins got off to a 2-0 lead, Alexa, to start off this game, as you see goal number 20 from Kelly. So Hopkins has led since about 35 seconds in to this game, but Penn State has stayed them. We're right there, blow for blow. And you're right, so momentous every time the Nittany Lions can climb back within 1.
And the draw circle can be their key to that success. If they can limit those turnovers and really take advantage of this part of the game where they've dominated so far, they can find their way to the lead in this game. But Hopkins with the response and the draw control right there. Quick speed as they move upfield. It's number 20 for the Blue Jays, Paris Colgan. Holgain, excuse me. She's gonna pass that off to Taylor Haas. Haas brings the ball behind cage. Haas, the feed to Angelo. Angelo unable to corral it. There's gonna be a whistle called against Penn State's number 10. That is Maggie Golder. She's gonna be called for the hold on Angelo's stick, and Angelo is going to go to the hanging hash on the left side of the fan. Angelo, the quick feed, the pass, and the goal. That is gonna be a goal for Lacey Downey. And right there, Hopkins, a quick response to Penn State's power shot from Emma Kelly.
Yeah, less than 30 seconds after Kelly scores for Penn State, and the kick pass inside, really no one in the area when it came down to Downey. She was the overtime hero a week ago, now on the board for the first time today with Hopkins, back up by 2.
And that was so smart there by Ava Angelo, seeing maybe she didn't have the lane on that hanging hash, but Downey had the inside step on her defender, able to quickly capitalize off the feed.
Yeah, we talked about how Hopkins been known to facilitate a lot of different passing and goal scores. That's now 6 goals for the Blue Jays via 5 different goal scorers.
And that is very important. Hopkins able to find their success, like you mentioned, Ryan, from so many different moving pieces. Downey, her first goal on the day, looking for maybe a couple more in the second half as we head right back to that center circle. Gonzalez and Ho continue their fight in the draw. And it will be Gonzalez to come up with that draw control. Hopkins 2 straight.
Really impressed there by the freshman Laurel Gonzalez, one of 2 all-freshman team unanimous selections in the Big Ten, joining Maryland's Kayla Gilmore. Gilmore's great in the circle, but so has Laurel Gonzalez been today for Hopkins.
And Hopkins right there is gonna call a timeout. Both teams are gonna head to the sidelines. We're gonna take a short break here on Big Ten Plus. Johns Hopkins leads 6-4 over Penn State in the Big Ten quarterfinals. You're watching the Big Ten Women's Lacrosse Tournament quarterfinals here on Big Ten Plus. Johns Hopkins leads Penn State 6-4 in this third quarter. Just over 13 and a half minutes left in this third quarter. Johns Hopkins coming off a timeout. They're gonna have possession on the offensive end of the field, setting up now against the Penn State defense. See Lacey Downey with the ball in her stick. She just had a goal to give Hopkins that 2-goal lead back after Penn State was able to find one quick in the third quarter.
Penn State now falling behind in terms of the shot category, 19-15 in favor of Johns Hopkins with the shots, really just getting them from all over the place. Again, you've seen the 2 goals so far for DiCarlo, but again, it was Downey who became the 5th different goal scorer. Maybe Hopkins still looks to facilitate and find different goal scoring options besides their 2-level threat with Angelo. And
Hopkins quickly brings the ball up to the top of the 12. Smith with it. And that will be a call against Johns Hopkins. I believe they called a charge, and Penn State now with possession as they bring the ball upfield. It's going to be Haas with it now. Brooke Haas brings it over the restraining line. Penn State quickly moving it. Brooke Haas gets it back. The give and go and the goal. Penn State takes advantage of Johns Hopkins defense not being matched up.
Again, we've sound like a broken record, but Penn State just keeping itself within arm's distance every time. Good shot there for Haas, her first goal of the game with the senior. Just so important that the Nittany Lions stay as close to Hopkins, who has had as much of a 3-goal lead, but not been able to get up by more than 2 since the second half started. Again, it's a 1-goal Hopkins advantage.
This game has been filled with so many fast break runs through the midfield to cage, and right there we saw Penn State take a playbook out of Hopkins' playbook and just say, okay, if you're going to do that to us, we're going to throw it right back at you. The fast break goal, Brooke Haas, the give and go, and gets, like you said, Ryan, Penn State down just 1 goal. Back in the center circle, this duo that's been fighting it all day long. It's going to be Gonzalez to win this battle. Gonzalez quickly swarmed by the Penn State defense, going to pass that off to Downey. Downey taking her time as Hopkins makes some substitutions on the field for the attack. Smith with the ball still in her stick. Uses the screen, able to get the shot off and the goal. Smith bounces it right past Manning.
Again, just as it did on the after the first Penn State goal in the second half, on the second Penn State goal, it's another quick response from Hopkins. This time again, it's Caroline Smith scoring. It's really well done by Hopkins again. Every time Penn State gets back within 1, Hopkins gets up by 2. This is just back and forth between both these teams. Alexia was back and forth defensively in the first half. Now it feels like both teams trading goal for goal.
Ryan, I think you just took the words right out of my mouth. Both Hopkins and Penn State just moving so fast on that offensive end of the field. And right there, Smith, great job, saw the dodge, saw the screen, took it, and right to cage for the goal.
They get a 6th different goal scorer out of the 7 goals scored by Hopkins as well. That trend continues where they're just able to find scoring pieces all over the field, including, remember, Ashley Mackin's out for this game. Alexia, she started the first 12 games of the season for Hopkins. 55 goals in 12 games, but she's been hurt so far this year. Inactive today, and that's a big reason why Hopkins has needed to and has been able to rely on different pieces.
And Ryan, you mentioned how she only played 12 games, was injured. She still was a first-team All-Big 10 selection. That just shows how good of a player she is for this Hopkins teams. But the Blue Jays have had no struggles keeping up their success. And right there, Regan O'Brien, another check away on Penn State as they come full speed the other way. The Blue Jays looking for another fast break, but that one taken away by Sydney Manning. And now Penn State flying up down the center field. Ho. She's checked away by O'Brien. The fight for the ground ball. A whistle called. It's going to be Ho to take possession of that ball. You see a replay on your screen. It's going to be a whistle called against Hopkins. I believe it's going to be a push, and Penn State now fully in their attack. The Nittany Lions moving the ball around the 12. McKinney. Long, passes it off to Ho. Ho, down low, the quick shot. That one saved by Giardina. Great job getting her stick up and in the way of that shot from the Nittany Lions.
Brooke Haas wanted to score her 2nd straight for Penn State. Goes to the sidearm shot, but again, is Giardina ready for the save?
Blue Jays quickly move the ball upfield. It's DiCarlo. She is knocked down. It's going to be a whistle on the play.
Just the fall right there for the Blue Jays, but again, Penn State whistle starting to add up defensively.
Smith with the ball in her stick. Smith working at the top of the 12. Blue Jays quickly move it down to Axe. Gonzalez. A whistle on that play. I think that's gonna put Gonzalez on the 12-meter. It does. Gonzalez quickly passes it off. Kielbasa with the lane, the shot, and that one is saved by Sydney Manning. She went for the roll shot. Sydney Manning gets down to the ground and picks that one up.
Important save for Manning. Again, not easy to go low.
Ho quickly moves into the 8. The shot, that one is knocked out by Giardina. And there is gonna be no whistle on that play. Ho did fall to the ground. It's gonna stay here with Penn State as they chase the shot. McKinney from X. Sends that up to Long. Long, the feed inside, the shot misses wide left. Penn State once again chasing the shot. And we see right here, the feed inside, unable to direct the shot into goal. McKinney, that one looks like it might have gone in. It bounces off. It looks like the corner of the goal. Hopkins able to avoid a McKinney goal for Penn State.
And Giardino looked like she lost it for just a moment there, but the back line of the Blue Jays defense able to bail her out, get up the ground ball, and here comes now the Johns Hopkins attack.
McNaughton brings it over the restraining line. He's gonna pass it off to Kielbasa. Blue Jays bring the ball behind cage. Downey, trying to use the screen from Angelo. Downey looking for something, passes it off. Smith looking to get inside the 8, is forced out by this Penn State defense. Kielbasa. Back to Smith. Smith with the shot. There was a whistle. It's not going to stop play. Hopkins maintains possession with the rebound. The feed inside, that one's knocked away, and it's Penn State to come up with it, and they are trying to bring this ball upfield. It's number 26 for the Nittany Lions with it on her stick. That's Kate Doherty. Penn State almost loses it on the pass, and they do. That is going to be out of bounds against the Nittany Lions, and it's Hopkins' ball.
Really, really well defended there by Paris Colgane on the pass intended for Peyton Wainman. That's what you need to do if you're the Blue Jays' last line of defense.
Smith has the ball back in her stick. She carries it over the restraining line. Flips it to Downey. Downey finds Haas. Haas to Angelo. Angelo fighting her way through. That one is knocked in the air, and that is picked up by Penn State's number 5. That's Lauren Tinson. And Penn State now moving the ball upfield. Nittany Lions looking for a pass. Holland brings the ball upfield herself. A pass out to McKinney, but that one hits the ground and rolls out of bounds. That came from Ellie Wish, just unable to connect, and another turnover for Penn State.
And again, for the intended target, Kelly McKinney, she had no Blue Jay defenders in the area really pressuring her to get that pass off. And that pass ended up at her feet. So Penn State really just making a couple errors itself in the passing lanes.
DiCarlo right there, heavy pressure from multiple Penn State attackers. She's able to find her way out and brings it over the restraining line herself as Haas now has the ball in her stick. Smith. Working from the right side of the fan. Passes it behind cage. The feed, unable to connect on that one, but Downey there for the rebound. She goes for the shot, can't find it. That one is chased by DiCarlo.
You see right there the pass that tried to get to DiCarlo. Rebound for maybe just a moment there, too. Hopkins can't get a real shot off. about this Penn State defense too, Alexa.
Just all-out pressure on Hopkins' attack, and a great check right there from behind. Downey able to recover it, but great pressure. As Downey looks for Haas, she can't connect on that pass. A ground ball sprint, and they are gonna call a whistle against Hopkins. I believe it was an empty check, and Penn State will now have possession. Hetrick able to pass it up. Hoy to McKenney. And there's going to be a shooting space call against the Blue Jays. This is now going to put Matt Kenny on the 8-meter. And you're seeing on your screen also 18-13 in turnovers. Penn State currently leading. Right there you see Penn State capitalizing on a Johns Hopkins turnover. McKenney from the 8, the bounce shot, that one will go wide, almost hits her own teammate in the head, but it's gonna be Penn State ball. McKenney has it back, passes it to the opposite X. The check from behind, Penn State able to come up with the ground ball. It's gonna be a whistle on the play. Penn State will reset its Wayneman, and there's gonna be a timeout from Penn State. This has been non-stop action, Ryan. And with that, we are gonna take a quick break. Johns Hopkins leads 7-5 over Penn State in the Big Ten quarterfinals here on Big Ten Plus. It's the end of April, which means Big Ten conference play is upon us. You're watching Penn State versus Johns Hopkins here on Big Ten Plus, and we thought we'd take a moment, look back at the bracket update for this 2025 Big Ten Women's Lacrosse Tournament. Ryan, we see here the matchup in front of us. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, number 2 seed Maryland will take on number 7 seed Rutgers. And then at 6 p.m., we have number 6 seed USC versus number 3 seed Michigan.
Jam-packed day of quarterfinal Big Ten Women's Lacrosse Tournament games. We got these 3 games today, as you mentioned, and we'll hand it off to our friends at Big Ten Network on Friday. Really interested to see, again, if Penn State's able to make that comeback against Johns Hopkins. We have a rematch of last year's championship between Northwestern and Penn State on Friday to begin our 1 of 2 semifinals. But a lot of lacrosse still to be played here, and thankfully a lot more to be played today between those 2 other games.
That's right, and just a reminder, Northwestern finished this regular season undefeated in Big Ten play. So both these teams, whoever wins today, a chance to try to upset the number 1 seed, the number 3 seed team in the nation, and try to make it to that Big Ten tournament.
And the Wildcats are also looking for a three-peat in this Big Ten tournament, winning in each of the last 2 seasons. And as we just mentioned, they beat Penn State in that championship game a year ago.
And we are right back in the action. Just under 4.5 minutes left in this third quarter. Penn State with possession. They just called a timeout after a lot of missed shots that led to great chases, but needed a moment to reset in their attack. 40 seconds left on the shot clock. And Penn State now with the ball at the top of the key. Down to X with McKinney. McKinney, the feed, and that one is swiped away by Regan O'Brien. She has been all over the place on this defensive end, just picking off one pass after another. And Johns Hopkins wastes no time coming upfield. Smith with the ball in her stick. Waits for the addition of her teammates as they sub onto that offensive end of the field. Angelo now with the ball. She sends it down to X. Haas with the ball in her stick. Uses a screen from Smith. Haas still has it. The feed to Kielbasa. Kielbasa, the quick shot right in front of the cage, and she's got it. Hopkins takes an 8-5 lead over Penn State.
Yeah, it was shot after shot, but finally Kielbasa starts to cook, going top left corner right there, make it another unique goal scorer for Johns Hopkins. They've got the production all over the place and are finally starting to get to Sydney Manning a little bit in the cage. Kielbasa's 12th of the season as Johns Hopkins tying its largest lead of the game so far, up by 3.
Kielbasa has been all over the field for this Hopkins team on both the defensive and offensive ends, and right there she gets the goal to just complete an outstanding performance from number 50.
She wears that midfielder title with pride, Alexa. We've seen it so often this year with this Johns Hopkins team of playing both on the defensive end, yet being able to run up in these transition opportunities and put on a scoring chance for you the attack.
That's right, and both teams now back in the center circle. Ho versus Gonzalez, just like we mentioned, just fighting it out all game, and there's going to be a whistle on that draw. It's going to come against Penn State, against Erica Ho, and Johns Hopkins will give the ball to Kielbasa, and she will go right onto that attacking end of the field.
Correct that too. Actually, the second goal of the game for Kielbasa. She joins DiCarlo as the only 2 multi-goal scorers of this game for Hopkins.
Haas with the ball behind cage. Working across both X's. The feed to Kielbasa. Kielbasa, another goal back to back. Megan Kielbasa, the feed from Haas, and she finishes that one off with speed. And excuse me, it's actually going to be Lacey Downey to come off with that goal.
Quick pass inside. Downey goes to the same position that Kielbasa went, top right corner. Really well done there by the sophomore Downey, her second of the game. Hopkins 2 goals in quick succession. In fact, that goal for Downey came just 34 seconds after Kielbasa's second.
Downey, Kielbasa, and DiCarlo now the only players with Johns Hopkins to have 2 goals on the day. Haas, great job feeding from behind. She was able to find Kielbasa, like Ryan mentioned, and then once again able to find Downey. 22nd goal of the season you see on your screen now, Lacey Downey. We mentioned her early in this game. She scored the goal to win it for Hopkins over Penn State in that overtime victory. She is a player that knows how to capitalize on her opportunities.
She also had 2 goals in the 12-11 overtime win against Penn State. You were just mentioning she had the game-winning goal as well, too. So a couple games against the Nittany Lions, a couple multi-goal performances for the sophomore.
The draw is set up between Ho and Gonzalez. We're going to get another whistle, and this time it's going to go in favor of Penn State. We've talked about, Ryan, how aggressive these two have been in the draw, and now it's leading to actual whistles.
Yeah, this is what Big Ten lacrosse looks like as the calendar nears May, Alexa. Both these teams ramping up the physicality. Again, they know each other after playing just a week ago.
Penn State now with the ball on the attacking end of the field. It's McKenney. She brings it up to the 12. Ho. From the top of the 12. Able to find Long. Long gets inside the shot and the goal. That's number 18 for Penn State, Brooke Long. Able to beat her defender, knife to the goal, and get it right past Giardina.
Just the 9th goal of the season for the reserve piece, Brooke Long, but Penn State needed that one badly after 2 quick goals for Hopkins. Really well done. As you say, Long just knifes through that Blue Jay defense, has a one-on-one date with Giardina, and doesn't make a mistake about it.
See Long running up the field. A great offensive possession for her. Quickly moves it up for the Nittany Lions as we head right back to this center circle. It has just been back and forth in this 3rd quarter, Ryan, and I don't think we're going to stop anytime soon.
No, still 17 minutes and change to play in this game between Hopkins and Penn State, and that draw control battle really becoming neck and neck. A 9-8 advantage here for Penn State.
Ho and Gonzalez gearing up for this draw. both of their teammates on the outskirts of the circle, heading towards that far side of the circle from us here in the press box. And it looks like it's going to be Penn State to come up with that. It's Long, who just found herself a goal. Long, quickly swarmed by Johns Hopkins defense, is checked away, but her teammate Lauren Salt's there to grab the loose ground ball. Penn State looking to move the ball quickly. Ho, quickly swarmed, able to get it out to Haas. Ho finds the ground ball. Long, down low to McKenny. Back to Long. Long tries to find Haas. She loses it, and that is picked up by Johns Hopkins. A whistle called, and Hopkins is off and ready down the field, quickly looking to get settled in this attack. Smith. Smith looks to find DiCarlo. DiCarlo unable to grab it. Angelo keeps it in play. Smith slows things down for the Blue Jays. To Downey. Gonzalez sends it down to X with Angelo. Working from behind cage. Haas now has it on the 12 at the top. Haas, the dodge. Tries to feed it and loses the ball on her stick, able to pick it back up. Haas still working from behind cage. Smith. Able to find her teammate down low at X. That was number 21, Campbell Case, but she's unable to get it past Manning. 20 seconds remaining. Penn State racing up the field. McKinney, 12 seconds. 10. McKinney loses the ball. 7 seconds. Penn State trying to find something, and a whistle called. 2 seconds on the shot clock, a push called against the Blue Jays defense, and that will send number 28 for Penn State, Maddie Greco, to the 8-meter. She's going to be on that first hash to the right side of the fan.
Just 2 seconds on the clock. Expect Greco to take 1 or 2 side steps in and maybe look for that top left corner over Giardina.
Greco will have the opportunity for one shot. She'll have to be quick. Greco quickly drives in, and that is stopped by Giardina, and that will do it for the third quarter. Johns Hopkins leads by 3 goals, 9-6 over Penn State. The Blue Jays able to maintain their lead through a back and forth third quarter. Penn State able to sign some power early on, but Hopkins keeps themselves ahead. The Big Ten quarterfinals here on Big Ten Plus, fourth quarter up next. You're watching the Big Ten Women's Lacrosse quarterfinals here on Big Ten Plus. Johns Hopkins versus Penn State, and Regan O'Brien for Johns Hopkins has been phenomenal today. You see it right there, 7 cost turnovers, Ryan.
Just can't keep not saying her name, Alexa. Just finding a way defensively to contribute so much, whether it's on the scoreboard like those 7 cost turnovers today or doing the little things. Really impressed with her slides onto some Nittany Lion attackers. She's been a difference maker right now and a big reason why Hopkins is up by 3 entering the 4th quarter.
And you see that right there, 75 on the season. She leads the entire nation in D1. I mean, like you said, Ryan, she forces announcers like us to have to say her name because she just is swiping those passes out of the air, just nonstop, all-out pressure against this Penn State defense. And I think you make a great point. Her just sliding, and we're going to see a great takeaway right there. The check, a forced turnover, and then that one goes right in the way of Penn State. They're able to maintain possession, but a great job getting that pressure out on her. And that's not even some of her best ones. I mean, there is one, she just ripped that out of the air right off the pass and sent Hopkins the other way.
And the Charleston, Massachusetts native has just been a pest in this game, a pest all season. Big reason why she was a first-team All-Big Ten selection, the only member of this Hopkins defense to earn that honor.
And as the 4th quarter kicks off, it is going to be Penn State to grab possession from that first draw control. It's going to be a whistle on the play. And we talked about this in the 3rd quarter, a lot of aggression in the draw circle, just fighting for that opportunity to bring the ball down on your attacking end of the field. McKenney passes it down to X. Penn State looking to move it around the 12. It's Brooke Haas with it. Passes that one up to Kelly. The Nittany Lions just moving it, working it around the 12. Ho has it now. Ho brings it behind that goal line extended. The Nittany Lions working it from X. Matt Kenny forced out right around that crease. Kelly to Ho. Ho looking to find something, and we just talked about her. Regan O'Brien able to swat that one away, and the turnover, she's sending it the other way for her team.
Single-handedly being the focal point right now of this Blue Jays defense, yep.
Quick movement. Hopkins trying to get something off. Sydney Manning, I think, just got a kick save right there. Great job, able to deflect that shot. Smith has it. And that one is checked away. Smith looking to get it back. It's going to be Downey to come up with it. Hopkins keeps it alive on the attack. Downey. And that one is checked away. It's going to be called a foul against Penn State's number 16, Ellie Holland. Quick movement from Hopkins, working it from behind now. Blue Jays trying to get something going. Case up to Haas. Haas still with the ball in her stick. The quick feed to Angela. Angelo, a quick shot to get the goal for the Blue Jays. Make that 10 goals for Hopkins on the day.
Hopkins, the first one to double digits. Makes sense that it is going to be Ava Angelo to do so. Junior, again, with a really great cut. You go back to her first half goal, Alexa. She had a nice off-ball movement there as well. Now does it again for her first goal of the second half. Puts Hopkins back up by 4 with that shot. Just well done there by the junior.
And Taylor Haas, that's 4 assists on the day. She has just been great at finding her teammates when they're open. And she's able to connect with Angelo for her second goal of the day. As you mentioned, Angelo, great job connecting on that pass, turning her body and getting that shot in the precise spot to score that goal.
Love that you mentioned there from Taylor Haas too. Again, yeah, 4 assists. That matches Penn State's total overall, and she's got half of Hopkins' assist alone. Hasn't had a goal yet on the 2 shots that she's had, but she's made that difference so far, just like we've seen Regan O'Brien do defensively, but maybe not come up as much on the scoreboard. Haas has been that difference maker on the attack.
And Gonzalez, great job kicking the ball away on the ground ball fight. Still no one with possession. It's going to be Penn State to come up with it. Gonzalez looked like for a moment she had it, but Erica Ho stuck with it, got the check, and Penn State now has possession on the attacking end of the field. Brokaw sends it down to X. Penn State looking to respond. Ho has it. To Reza. McKinney. Working on the outside of the 12. Heavy pressure from O'Brien. Ho. Penn State quickly moving this around the 12-meter. And that one is knocked into the air. There's going to be a whistle called, and Penn State will retain possession. It's going to go back to McKinney on that spot at goal line extended. Ho has it. Ho, the fake pass, tries to take the gap, is forced out by Hopkins defense. It's going to be another whistle. Ho will be placed on the hash below the goal line extended. McKinney from X passes it up, and a whistle. Hopkins bench is arguing that the shot was already released, but they're gonna bring that ball back. They're gonna put number 24 for the Nittany Lions, Reza, on the 8-meter, that first hash to the right of the fan. Reza gets the shot off and the goal right past Giardina down low, and makes this a 10-7 game for the Nittany Lions.
First goal from Reza, another free position goal for the Nittany Lions. Definitely not out of it with 11 minutes to play, now just a 3-goal deficit. That was a big goal, I think. If that became a 5-goal Hopkins lead, I don't know if Penn State's able to come back from that, but the goal swing, now Nittany Lions down by 3, certainly doable with 11 and change to play.
Right, I think that's a great point. Johns Hopkins really finding a lot of momentum in this fourth quarter. They extended their lead to 4, really the largest lead we've seen in this game. Penn State, though, they've been able to keep themselves in this, just right there an arm's distance, making sure that lead does not extend for the Blue Jays, and they keep themselves right where they want to. And
also taking advantage of what Hopkins gives them. Again, another free position goal for the Nittany Lions, just the 3rd goal of the season for Maggie Reza, the defender. So if there's Hopkins defense is going to allow free positions, Penn State has to be able to take advantage of them to come back from this deficit. We've seen Penn State a couple false starts earlier as well in the free position.
Penn State trying to take advantage of the momentum. Erica Ho had the draw control, but who else than Regan O'Brien, the check and the forced turnover. Hopkins coming down this near sideline.
You look at what Regan O'Brien has brought to this team, gives you maybe a sense of a familiar face last year at Maryland with what Megan Ball did for that Maryland defense here from the Field Hockey and Lacrosse Complex, as Regan O'Brien's just been everywhere for Johns Hopkins.
I mean, defensively, she has been a nightmare for Penn State. They cannot seem to get away from her, and no matter where that ball is, she is getting her stick in the way. And Smith now trying to get Johns Hopkins into their attack. That is going to be a shooting space call against the Nittany Lions. It's going to be Ava Angelo now with a look on the 8-meter.
This has got to be a save for Sydney Manning and the Penn State defense. They'll take a quick video review before the opportunity may even present itself for Hopkins.
And it looks like the officials want to clarify something on their own end.
I think they're looking at the clock, Alexa, to see when that foul was committed.
We're going to take another look. You see the pass from Smith to the pass to Downey, then Downey to Angelo. Angelo pumps her stick looking for that shooting space call. Going to see if they're looking to review if it was a shooting space foul, an issue with the clock, possibly something that officials just want to confirm is correct. We're going to try to get an answer for you as soon as possible. Looks like they are changing the clock on the scoreboard. Ryan, what are you seeing?
Yeah, so listening into this coaching conversation right now. So originally, Alexa, the game clock read 10:11 when that call was called. They're going to reset this to 10:20, just as you see here on our score bug. So simply just 9 more seconds added onto the clock, and this will still be a free position opportunity for Hopkins.
Ava Angelo on that first hash mark to the left side of the fan. A quick dodge, and she's able to get inside. And it looks like it's going to be a save by Sydney Manning. No one on the field seemed to really know what was going on, but the officials motioned that it was a save and headed Penn State's way. That's a big time save from Sydney Manning.
Absolutely, especially after the goal that we just saw for Penn State with Maggie Reza. You're going to make the goals, Alexia, to climb back closer to this deficit. You have to make the defensive saves as well to match, just as Manning does right there.
Ho has the ball in her stick. To Haas. Wainman. McKenney. Penn State quickly moving the ball around the 12. The feed inside by Wayman, it's lost for a second, but McKenney able to keep it in play for Penn State. McKenney working from behind the cage. Wainman up to Ho. Johns Hopkins defense really giving Ho no lane inside this 8-meter. A quick feed inside, the shot and the goal. That is number 6, Delaney Radin, able to find an opening in the 8 and a quick power shot right past Giardina.
About Penn State now finding different goal scorers. First goal we see here for Radin. She's got a goal. Now 7 different goal scorers for Penn State for 8 goals scored. It's a 10-8 Johns Hopkins lead over Penn State, with the Nittany Lions climbing back right here on Big 10 Plus.
You're watching the Big 10 Women's Lacrosse quarterfinals here on Big 10 Plus, and with the Big 10 regular season completed, we have the opportunity to honor some all Big 10 honorees. You see right here on your screen for Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, you see the 4 first-team selections for the Blue Jays. That's tied with Northwestern for the most in the conference. Hopkins might match up with that Wildcat team on Friday in the semifinals, but a really great year under Tim McCormick and this Hopkins team.
Right there then, Gonzalez, unanimous all-freshman team. I mean, she has been phenomenal in this draw. We're now going to take a look over to Penn State. A slew of all Big 10 honorees as well. Erica Ho, we've said her name countless times through this broadcast. First team all Big 10.
Yeah, and then the future's really bright under 15th-year head coach Missy Doherty. You see those 2 freshman team selections between Long and Spilkner. Just really great between the senior leadership of some of the older players, like the 3 first-team selections, but then Long and Spilkner have really contributed well in State College.
That's right. We've seen so much talent across the field today within both programs, and you see that honored through the all-conference recognition, and this game is nowhere close to over. Johns Hopkins led as much as 4 goals. Penn State has been able to bring it in within 2 goals, with 2 back-to-back goals for themselves. And right there, Penn State now holds possession after winning the draw. Johns Hopkins does not let it up easy, though. Looked like for a second they might have been able to take it away on the redefend, but Penn State will maintain possession. Erica Ho sends it over to McKenney. McKinney brings it down to X. Wainman. Up to Ho. Nittany Lions quickly moving it around the 12. Wainman. Up to Haas. Haas passes that one off to Saltz. The feed inside the shot. That one just left of the cage. Penn State to stay with possession. Ho with a pass from Wainman, unable to connect, but keeps it on this end of the field. Ho sends it down to X. Working from behind is McKinney. Up to Kelly. To Wainman. A lot of skip passes from the Nittany Lions, and that one might have been too fast. Actually, it's going to stay here. It was a deflection off of Johns Hopkins. It looks like there for a second Penn State might have not been able to complete the pass, but they'll get another look. And the shot clock will expire on that one. Johns Hopkins able to force a shot clock violation against the Nittany Lions and give themselves possession of the ball.
Important defensive stop there for Hopkins. I think that next goal was a really big swing, whether Hopkins can get back up by 3 or Penn State can make this a 1-goal game for the first time in about 20 minutes of gameplay, as Hopkins has really relied on that multi-goal lead that it's built up right now.
Hopkins able to move the ball into their own attacking end of the field easily, as Angelo is going to gain possession. She's going to pass that off to Downey. Downey uses the screen. Hopkins quickly looking to move it. Kielbasa has the ball in her stick. Kielbasa looking for a lane, looks for the low pass. It's knocked out. A fight for the ground ball right in front of the crease. And it looks like they're going to call a foul against the Blue Jays. It's going to be Penn State ball. Ellie Holland to have it in her stick as she looks ahead for Haas. Brooke Haas looking to bring it over the restraining line. A quick pass, the shot, that one is saved by Giardina. And it's gonna be in the stick now of number 23 for the Blue Jays, Hannah Johnson. As Hopkins moves the ball up the field. O'Brien has it now. O'Brien able to find Downey. Downey will pass it off to Smith. Smith taking her time. Just under 5.5 minutes left in this game. Hopkins not moving the ball. They have a 2-goal advantage. Smith just standing there holding the ball in her stick. Johns Hopkins looks like they're ready to get set in something. Only 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Taylor Haas has it now. Haas able to find Downey. 19 seconds. Downey still with the stick. The behind the back look from Taylor Haas. That will not hit anything. The shot clock will remain at 9 seconds. 8, 6 seconds. The Blue Jays having to work quick. Smith, 4 seconds. The feed inside, the shot. That one goes right over the cage, and that will be a shot clock violation for the Blue Jays.
Downey was that close to having her 3rd goal of the game, would be the most for a Hopkins player. Interesting call that you mentioned for Tim McCormick to start prioritizing winding down that clock with a 2-goal lead and just about 4 minutes and change to play. I think maybe still play at a regular game pace with so much time left on the clock, and that lead's still just slim for Hopkins.
And right there, Manning trying to make a quick clear. Regan O'Brien there, and the shot right there for Hopkins. They didn't get it on the set play, but they were able to capitalize with a takeaway on the clear and a quick goal. That one comes for number 21 for Johns Hopkins, Campbell Case.
Case is 2nd of the game. Again, a quick turnover. That's been the story so far today. The turnovers that are adding up for Penn State. Case takes it inside a one-on-one battle with Manning, but how about the pass well set up there by Hopkins? And we keep mentioning her name defensively, but Regan O'Brien with the big-time assist right there to find Case for her second goal. Again, we were talking about how that's a big swing, and now Hopkins is back up by 3.
You're right there. Regan O'Brien was able to step up, got that missed clear from Manning, found Angela. Angela was knocked down, but able to connect with Case, and Case right there. You saw it in the replay really quick. She was one-on-one against Manning, but she did such a great job of moving Manning and Case to solidify that goal.
16th goal of the season for Case. Angela with her 22nd assist, but the turnover margin really adding up. How about 24 turnovers now, including that one by Penn State, just 14 for Johns Hopkins.
And we talked about Johns Hopkins has really taken advantage of that fast break, and they've found a lot of goals off it. We just saw one, and those turnovers will be a killer for Penn State, who is dominating in that draw circle. And right here, we're gonna have a timeout for Johns Hopkins. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this game. Hopkins leading 11-8 here in the Big Ten quarterfinals on Big 10 Plus. You're watching the Big Ten Tournament quarterfinals. Regan O'Brien just broke the single game record for caused turnovers, 10 on the day, Ryan.
Love that stat from our graphics department there, Alexa. And yeah, you mentioned it. Regan O'Brien, a new career high, new single game program record high with Johns Hopkins, 10 caused turnovers. She broke the record of 7 caused turnovers owned by who else but Regan O'Brien. She had 7 caused turnovers in 3 different conference games this season, doing so against Rutgers, Northwestern, and Ohio State. Now finally breaks down the door on her own record and up to double digits in the category.
And Ryan, get this, she's had a caused turnover, at least one, in every single game this season. I mean, that's how you lead the Division I women's lacrosse national standings in caused turnovers.
And all Big Ten first team selection this year for a reason as well.
And with that, Johns Hopkins will have possession of the ball coming out of the timeout. It's going to be a whistle on the play. It's Taylor Haas with the ball in her stick. Haas able to beat her defender. Does not force a quick drive to goal, though. Haas now will take it as she beats her again, and the goal from Taylor Haas. Penn State having to pressure out with limited time left. Haas takes advantage, knifes to the goal, and she's got herself another one.
Knifes right inside, and that might be an early candidate for the dagger here against Penn State. Johns Hopkins ties its largest lead with a 4-goal advantage over Penn State. Just working quickly off the timeout. Can really well find there. Haas just goes from behind the cage. Manning did not see her coming. Manning up to 11 saves to match Giardina's total, but can't stop that one there for the Blue Jays.
Taylor Haas, we talked about her ability to feed the ball in this game. She has been so great as finding open looks for her teammates. She has 4 assists, and now her first goal on the day. So many points for Haas. That's 5 points on the day for Taylor Haas.
I mentioned the assists that she has as well, just adding up so far. Really been a difference maker that maybe her name didn't come up on the goal scoring chart until right there, but This is not a 4-goal Hopkins lead without her. Might not even be a lead for Hopkins if not for the play of Taylor Haas.
And right there, the draw is off and running. That is going to be a yellow card against Erica. Oh, you heard Johns Hopkins bench calling for the check to the head, and that will be the official ruling from the officials, as Hopkins now is going to maintain possession coming off that draw.
It's a draw control you really wanted to have if you were Penn State down by 4, just about 3 minutes and change to play. And that yellow card really hurts if you're the Nittany Lion bench.
Especially because now Hopkins will be a man up on the attacking end of the field, where they're already trying to hold the ball and drain time off the clock.
This game will have barely more than a minute to play by the time we're back to full strength. And Alexa, you look at this, which should be a Hopkins win. Blue Jays will take on Northwestern on Friday. These are two teams that should find themselves still in the NCAA tournament. The top 10 ranked Hopkins team right now, which will advance in the Big Ten tournament. And then Penn State with those 5 conference wins as well. You think that should be enough to sneak in to the women's lacrosse bracket. But if not, this might be the end of the season for the Nittany Lions too, so a tough way to go out.
It is, and it has been an all-out battle in so many different elements of this game. We've talked about the battle in the draw circle, on both the attacking and defensive ends of the field. And right there, Hopkins trying to find another goal. It's going to be Sydney Manning to deflect that one. And right now, Hopkins still having possession. Blue Jays working it around, just hitting that 2-minute mark left in this game.
Quick check on that with Penn State too. Yeah, this loss would drop them to 7-9. You need to be over 500 or at least 500 to make that NCAA tournament. So for Penn State, this should be the end of the road for Missy Doherty's squad this year if unable to come back.
And right there, Hopkins finds another goal after the man up situation. They're able to capitalize, like we said. You see Smith with the ball here, able to find Taylor Haas. Back-to-back for Haas, and we talked about her ability to find her open teammates. Now her teammates are giving her that opportunity.
Haas becoming the 5th different Blue Jay with multiple goals in this game so far, as Hopkins up to its biggest lead at 5.
It's going to be her 6th point of the day. We mentioned how many times we've said her name due to her excellence on the field, on that attacking end of the field today. And right back to that center circle, the battle that has been so aggressive all day, both teams giving it their all to find that possession. And it will be Hopkins to come up with that draw control. And right there on the redefend, Penn State able to force the ball out of bounds against Johns Hopkins. They'll have an opportunity now, just over 1 minute left in this game, to try to get another goal on the board, and they're going to want to move quick. Penn State sends it down to Wayneman. Up top to Kelly. Kelly looking for the feed inside. That is knocked away and picked up by the Blue Jays. Kielbasa with the ground ball quickly finds Smith. Just about to hit that 1 minute mark on the game. Haas pulls the ball out, trying to shave as much time as possible, as the Hopkins shot clock is now over the game clock, but Penn State is not going away without a fight. And they're able to keep that ball in play, force the turnover, and now coming down the field looking for one last look at Cage. It's Kelly. Kelly to Wayneman. Ho has the ball in her stick. 25 seconds. Kelly feeds inside to Haas. That one is knocked away by the Blue Jays defender, number 38. That is Annie Marshall, as Smith will bring the ball over the restraining line. 7 seconds. 5. 4 seconds, and with that, Johns Hopkins will advance to the Big Ten tournament semifinals to face off against number 1 seed Northwestern. The Blue Jays, 13-8, over the Penn State Nittany Lions. And Ryan, what a game from both squads, battling it out throughout this game, but the Blue Jays never let up their lead.
For Johns Hopkins, a goal just 73 seconds in, never looked back after that and kept building on that lead. Take a look at the bracket right now. After a 5-goal win for Hopkins, it'll be a matchup between the Blue Jays and the Wildcats to kick off the 2-game semifinal on Friday. Good win for Johns Hopkins, and we'll have to see what the final 2 games later today shake out to be.
That's right. Up next here at the Field Hockey and Lacrosse Complex, we have another quarterfinal matchup. It's going to be number 2 seed Maryland versus number 7 seed Rutgers. Game 2 on deck up next, and it will be a great matchup. Big Ten women's lacrosse quarterfinals. Johns Hopkins and Penn State get us started. A back and forth battle throughout the field, but Johns Hopkins, like Ryan mentioned, that first goal, and they ran with it. Johns Hopkins wins it 13-8 over Penn State in the Big Ten quarterfinals here on Big Ten Plus. Thank you from myself and Ryan Martin.